Listen to me. I know it's early, but it's an emergency. It's an emergency.
There have been rumors circulating that Remy Ma cheated allegedly on Papoose with another.
When it comes to celebrity breakups, some stories vanish overnight, while others just refuse to die. And listen, this was never one of those quiet splits that faded into the background. This breakup ignited instantly and remained intense, pulling everybody in whether they wanted to watch or not. The split between Remy Ma and Papoose squarely landed in that second category. What should have stayed private turned into full-blown public chaos. Whispers turned into headlines, clips started circulating everywhere, voices got louder online, and accusations flew, leaving fans stunned and confused. For years, Remy and Papoose were held up as the gold standard for loyalty in hip-hop. Their relationship wasn't flawless, but it survived pressure that would have broken most couples. Prison time, sacrifice, rumors, and long separations didn't tear them apart. So when the first claims surfaced, a lot of people brushed them off immediately. At first, none of it added up. After everything they'd already survived, betrayal sounded far-fetched. Then came the moment that changed the entire tone. Quiet chatter started about Remy being seen with someone new. Not just anybody, but a younger man known in certain circles as Easy, also called the Block Captain, and that raised eyebrows fast. With Remy pushing 45 and Easy being much younger, skepticism spread quickly. Still, the rumors didn't die out. They grew louder and harder to ignore. Then Tasha K entered the picture and flipped the whole conversation. Known for lighting matches in messy situations, she went live and claimed she had proof this was no longer just talk. From that moment forward, the story took a much heavier turn. According to her claims, Remy Ma and Papoose were already finished, and the reason, she said, centered on an alleged affair with Easy, the Block Captain. That one claim pushed everything from gossip into full-blown scandal territory. This wasn't vague commentary either. She made it clear she believed the evidence was solid and that the rumors people dismissed were rooted in something real. Screenshots, photos, and private messages were all hinted at. Suddenly, fans who once stood 10 toes down for Remy started questioning everything. The energy shifted immediately. What once felt like noise turned emotional, messy, and way too personal for public viewing. The timing only made it heavier. Not long after the allegations exploded, reports surfaced that Remy Ma and Papoose had officially filed for divorce. For people who had followed their journey for nearly 2 decades, that news hit differently. This wasn't just another celebrity breakup scrolling by on a timeline. It felt like the end of something real. Soon after, clips began circulating showing Remy visibly shaken. In some moments, she looked exhausted and reflective, like someone completely drained. She talked about late nights in motels, endless phone calls that went nowhere, and conversations that felt more painful than healing. Even without naming names, the message was obvious. Something between them had fractured beyond repair. Still, while emotion pulled at people's hearts, many couldn't ignore the weight of the alleged betrayal. Sympathy existed, but disappointment sat right beside it. Fans struggled to reconcile the Remy they admired with the woman now accused of crossing a line. To understand why this breakup rocked so many people, you have to look beyond the headlines. In the entertainment world, relationships live under non-stop pressure. Fame magnifies mistakes, privacy barely exists, and rumors outrun the truth every time. Even with all of that, Remy and Papoose stood apart. Their bond wasn't built on clout or flash, it was built on loyalty, struggle, and commitment. Their story started back in 2004 through a mutual friend, DJ K. According to Papoose, Remy made the first move. She reached out through their connection and made her interest clear. That introduction sparked more than music. It opened the door to a relationship that moved fast and got serious early. Life didn't make things easy for them. A few years later, Remy Ma was incarcerated. For most couples, that's the breaking point. Distance, stress, and time usually tear people apart. For them, it did the opposite. Instead of leaving, Papoose stayed present. He showed up through visits, long calls, and extended separation. At one point, they even planned to marry while Remy was still locked up. The wedding didn't happen the way they expected. There were delays, confusion, and obstacles, but it showed how committed they were. Over the years, rumors tried to break them more than once. Cheating allegations popped up before, but they always stood together. Papoose was vocal about protecting Remy's name and reminding people that the internet lies. He handled family duties, kept the household steady, and held things down during her sentence. For many fans, that kind of loyalty felt rare, especially in hip-hop. When they announced they were growing their family, it felt like confirmation that they had survived everything. For a lot of people, that moment symbolized growth and healing. It looked like proof that their bond was unbreakable. But life applies pressure right when things seem strongest. As the scandal unfolded, nothing cooled down. It escalated. Instead of fading, new claims emerged. Tasha K released another video saying Easy, the block captain, had approached her for an interview. That alone added another layer of mess. According to her, the interview came with red flags. The price was reportedly $10,000. Even stranger, he wanted it hosted on his own platform instead of hers. That didn't sit right with her. When she pressed him, his explanations felt shaky. Rather than clarifying, he backtracked. Each response raised more suspicion. Things got even murkier when people noticed social media connections contradicting his story. Those inconsistencies had everyone questioning what was really happening behind the scenes. As all of this surfaced, the spotlight on Remy Ma and Papoose grew harsher. A relationship once admired became a constant debate. Fans dissected every clip, every post, and every silence.
Listen to me. I know it's early, but it's an emergency. It's an emergency.
There have been rumors circulating that Remy Ma cheated allegedly on Papoose.
One moment that really stood out was Papoose showing up at Busta Rhymes' career celebration. Remy was noticeably absent, and trust me, that absence spoke louder than anything anyone could say. While Remy tried to downplay it, calling it typical battle rap drama, the damage had already been done. Photos allegedly showing Remy and Easy together only poured gasoline on the fire. At that point, the rumors no longer felt far away or harmless. What once lived quietly in comment sections and private chats had stepped fully into the spotlight, turning whispers into public confrontation. This was no longer just about leaked photos or anonymous tips. The situation had escalated into something emotional, public, and impossible to control. One specific moment shifted public opinion in a big way, and it happened during a battle rap event nobody expected to get that tense. During the battle, Easy, the block captain, took the stage and aimed straight at Remy Ma. Known for being unapologetically direct, he didn't hold back at all. Sure, personal shots are normal in battle rap, but this didn't feel like clever wordplay or playful disrespect. It felt pointed, raw, and personal. He questioned Papoose's absence and heavily hinted at betrayal. The way he delivered it made the crowd tense, not entertained. The energy in the room shifted immediately. People stopped reacting to punchlines and started feeling the tension. What made it hit even harder was the history behind it all. Papoose had always been Remy's biggest supporter. He stood by her when others walked away. He defended her name fiercely when rumors tried to stick. For someone to question his absence so publicly made people pause. The focus stopped being about bars and started being about body language. Remy stood there, clearly affected. She didn't laugh it off or brush it aside. Her posture and expression said more than words ever could. It felt like something had already cracked long before that moment, and the battle just pulled back the curtain. Clips from the event spread fast across social media. Once again, timelines were buzzing with debate. Some felt Easy crossed the line. Others thought he said what many were already thinking. Either way, the damage was done. The conversation shifted almost overnight. Fans who once defended Remy without hesitation started asking questions. Not hateful questions at first, but curious ones. Why wasn't Papoose there? Why had he stayed silent? What was really happening behind the scenes? Why did everything suddenly go quiet on his side? That question started floating around as the rumors grew louder. Remy Ma eventually addressed the situation online, asking people to stop spreading what she called lies connected to Easy. She tried to frame the entire situation as standard battle rap drama, suggesting people were reading too deeply into something that wasn't real. But by then, the story had already moved past her control. The narrative was no longer shaped by one response. Another moment that fueled speculation was Papoose showing up at public events alone. One appearance in particular stood out. He attended Busta Rhymes' career celebration without Remy by his side. On a normal day, that wouldn't mean much. Couples don't attend every event together. But in the middle of heavy rumors, absence starts to speak louder than words. Fans noticed immediately. Photos circulated, comment sections filled up, and people pointed out that Remy was nowhere to be seen. Some tried to explain it away. Others saw it as confirmation that things weren't okay behind closed doors. Then Tasha K re-entered the story. She released images allegedly showing Remy and Easy together in a setting that didn't look professional or accidental. Whether the photos were innocent no longer mattered. By then, the internet had already chosen a side. Every new detail felt like another layer added to an already messy situation. When rumors surfaced about a possible altercation involving Easy and Papoose, nothing was confirmed. Still, the idea alone added tension. People imagined confrontations and private arguments spilling into real life. As the drama unfolded further, another voice stepped in. Charleston White, known for his blunt and controversial takes, addressed the situation openly on his platform. He didn't frame it as simple celebrity gossip. Instead, he spoke about what the situation represented to him, using Remy and Papoose as an example of how modern relationships unravel under pressure and public scrutiny. The moment Charleston White spoke, the conversation shifted again. He didn't tiptoe around feelings or loyalty narratives. He broke it down bluntly, saying situations like this happen when relationships are forced to survive under cameras, clout, and constant opinion. To him, it wasn't shocking at all. He framed it as a collision between fame, ego, and temptation, something that plays out over and over in the industry. Charleston made it clear that people romanticize loyalty stories without understanding the pressure behind them. He pointed out that long-term relationships in the spotlight often crack quietly before the public ever notices. By the time fans start asking questions, the damage is already done behind closed doors. That perspective made some uncomfortable, but others nodded in agreement. Suddenly, this was no longer just about rumors or screenshots. It became a broader conversation about expectations. Fans had put Remy and Papoose on a pedestal, seeing them as proof that loyalty always wins. When that image started to crumble, it felt personal to the people who truly believed in it. Social media stayed split. Some defended Remy Ma, saying years of emotional weight can push anyone to a breaking point. Others felt disappointed, arguing that loyalty means standing firm even when things get messy. The comments weren't playful anymore. They were heavy, emotional, and raw, showing just how invested people had become. Meanwhile, Papoose staying quiet only added fuel to the fire. His silence became louder than any statement. Fans analyzed every move, every appearance, every post or lack thereof. Some believed he was choosing peace, others thought he was letting the story speak for itself. Either way, the lack of clarity kept the rumors alive and breathing. As days passed, the narrative stopped being about one moment or one accusation. It morphed into a timeline of little signs people felt they had missed before. Old interviews resurfaced, lyrics got re-examined, past appearances were questioned. Everything was suddenly under a microscope, and nothing felt accidental anymore. At this point, the story was no longer just a breakup. It became a lesson, a warning, and a reality check all at once. Whether people saw it as betrayal, burnout, or two people simply growing apart, one thing was clear. The image fans had believed in no longer existed in the same way. And once that illusion cracks, there's no putting it back together the way it was. According to Charleston White, Papoose did something most men in the industry never do. He stayed loyal when it really counted. He stood by Remy Ma throughout her incarceration, showing up year after year while most would have walked away without hesitation. Charleston made it clear that kind of commitment is rare and meaningful. It represented real sacrifice, real patience, and real love. That's why the idea of it being possibly thrown away didn't sit right with him. He didn't sugarcoat his disappointment, saying watching something solid unravel felt wrong on multiple levels. He also pointed out the age gap between Remy and the much younger man she was rumored to be involved with, not because of age alone, but because of what it symbolized in his eyes. To him, it looked like impulsive decisions replacing long-term loyalty, and that shift told a bigger story than just gossip. Charleston framed it as a moment where discipline, patience, and history were being tested by temptation and ego. And in his view, that contrast is exactly why this struck such a nerve with people watching from the outside. As all of this unfolds, one thing is clear. This story is bigger than screenshots, battle bars, or internet noise. What people are really reacting to is the collapse of something they believed was solid. For years, Remy Ma and Papoose represented endurance, sacrifice, and sticking it out when life gets ugly. Watching that image crack in real time feels uncomfortable, confusing, and emotional for a lot of fans. This isn't about picking sides anymore. It's about expectations versus reality. Fame puts relationships under a microscope. Every silence, every absence, every reaction gets magnified. What might have stayed private elsewhere becomes public pressure here. Once the internet gets involved, Narratives form fast, and they're hard to stop. At the same time, this situation forces people to rethink the loyalty stories they cling to. A long history does not guarantee a smooth ending. Years of sacrifice don't protect relationships from burnout or bad decisions. That truth hits hard, especially when fans projected hope onto this couple as proof that love could survive anything. Papoose staying quiet keeps raising questions, and Remy speaking out only fuels more debate. Silence gets interpreted, words get dissected, every move becomes evidence, fair or not. Even neutral moments feel loaded, because trust in the story has already been shaken. What happens next is still unclear. Maybe more statements come out, maybe things stay quiet, maybe time reveals what really went down behind closed doors. But one thing is certain. The image people believed in has already changed, and there is no rewind button for that. So before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us. Tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update.